So imagine as a brand new entity, you can get a trade line up to $150,000 who's going to report to Dun & Bradstreet, is going to report to the SBFE, as well as Experian Business. So I want to let y'all in on this secret play, right? And this is a way that you could run up hundreds of thousands of dollars in business credit, even if you have very bad credit. As a lot of you guys know, whenever I'm sharing any type of resource or financial gem, I always go through the process either myself personally or through one of my clients, collect that information and then share it back to you. One thing I noticed lately, just applying for business lines of credit, getting funded for some of my clients, is that a lot of banks are looking at business credit now. Having good established business credit can actually be the difference from you getting, let's say, a $5,000 limit or a $10,000 limit versus a $50,000 or $75,000 or $100,000 limit, right? The basic components when it comes to, let's say, just business lines of credit, right? Good personal credit, right? So beneficial owner. So whenever we're talking about commercial business lines of credit, just think over 700, right? You really want to be aiming for like 800 ideally. If you're going to go to Bank of America, Chase, M&T, Truist, BMO Harris, Citizens Bank, Liberty Bank, now regardless if they're doing a full doc, limited docs, or no docs, you have to have good credit as the beneficial owner. There's really no way around that. Some might ask for 2 years of tax returns. Some might ask for a profit and loss. Some might ask for a balance sheet, schedule of business, debt, personal financial statement, operating agreement, whatever the type of paperwork it is, right? But here's the thing where business credit comes into play, because what I've seen lately is that a lot of institutions are, yes, they're always going to pull your personal credit, but they're also looking at business credit closely, and especially Experian Business. Lenders are looking at your IntelliScore. But more importantly, when it comes to these lines of credit, especially the no docs, a lot of these lenders are looking at your FICO SBSS. So FICO SBSS is the small business scoring service. So this is a blended score that looks at the personal credit of the beneficial owners as well as the business's credit, right? So they're looking at your Experian Business credit. And so they're combining the metrics and they come up with a score, right? TD Bank, which now has, for a limited time only, they have a line of credit where it's prime plus 0. And part of the underwriting criteria, they pull your Experian, they ask for 1 year of tax returns, and they're looking at your FICO SBSS. Having very established business credit can actually get you approved and get you qualified for more money and more funding. Now, right now, we have a business trade line. And again, this is something that I actually went through the process with a new entity that I started up, right? So I'm gonna put up on the screen, just give you guys a snapshot of basically what happened. So now, as far as this trade line, they report or they furnish data to the Small Business Financial Exchange as well as Dun & Bradstreet. So this is gonna show up on Dun & Bradstreet. For those of you who are aware of the Small Business Financial Exchange, Experian Business, Equifax Commercial, Credit Safe, a lot of these different data furnishers, data vendors, as well as financial institutions are part of the SBFE. So like American Express, Chase, they're all part of the SBFE. So for example, with American Express, they don't report directly to Experian Business, but they report to the SBFE, which eventually makes its way onto Experian Business. So with this trade line, it's exactly the same. They furnish data on the 28th. So that's the end of the cycle where they're submitting the file, is getting published to the Small Business Financial Exchange. And so I want to put up on the screen, and this is just confirmation that this actually does report. So I got a $40,000 trade line, right? $40,000 trade line. And this particular trade line is a cloud lease, right? So for cloud services, so a lot of businesses who might use cloud services to operate their business. So pretty much this is going to report to the SBFE as well as Dun & Bradstreet. Now I'm showing you the Dun & Bradstreet report. Now, mind you, this is a relatively new business that I opened up probably like 6-7 months ago, right? So it's not even that old of a business. So we added this trade line, and then a couple weeks later, I got confirmation. Now, the good thing about the company that's providing this trade line and reporting it and furnishing the data is that they will give you an email confirmation with a copy of your Dun & Bradstreet credit report, which shows the credit line reporting. So imagine as a brand new entity, you can get a trade line reporting on Dun & Bradstreet up to $150,000. Now, I just decided to get a $40,000 trade line just as proof of concept, but they have trade lines that go as high as $150,000. And this does report to the business credit reporting agencies. So it's going to report to Dun & Bradstreet. It's going to report to the SBFE as well as Experian Business. Now, here's why it's important to have high limit business trade lines reporting on your business credit reports. It's because when a lot of lenders are looking at your business credit report, they're going to have a recommended limit based off of the information. So this could be a past history of accounts that you've had under your business that you successfully repaid. So if they see you already have high limit trade lines, they're going to give you comparable approvals. Now, some of y'all might be familiar with this when it comes to auto loans and auto trade lines, right? It's how if you want to get, let's say, a $250,000, $300,000 vehicle under your business, you're going to need some type of comparable trade lines. You're not just going to be able to just open up a brand new business and apply and get 100% corporate liability. You have to have trade lines, comparable trade lines of similar limits and sizes to be able to get those types of approvals. So with this, one thing you can do, let's say you're a brand new business, go ahead and get that $150,000 trade line. Once that reports, you can then go to some of these different auto dealers. And of course, you want to build up some additional trade lines. But imagine that a brand new LLC with a $150,000 trade line reporting on Dun & Bradstreet, reporting through the SBFE, reporting to Experian Business. So when you go for financing and you put your EIN and you use that business to get business financing, they're already going to see you got a $150,000 trade line reporting. So they're going to give you a comparable limit based off of that instead of starting out as a brand new LLC and getting low limits. But having good business credit as a supplement and business credit that has comparable limits, that could be the difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars when you go for your rounds of funding. Now, again, if anyone is interested in getting a business trade line for up to $150,000, I'll drop the link in the description of the video. That's all for today. Let's go get that money.